Hello there, and welcome to this episode of the Barracuda Robot Build Diary. In this episode, I will talk about the whole weapon assembly build and how it fits in with the rest of the chassis. The weapon pulley system attaches to just one panel made out of HDPE on the robot, which leaves little margin for error. The Hardox weapon bar is attached to the pulley with screws, just like on Gunblade. The front HDPE panels of the robot are screwed directly to the HDPE panels of the weapon assembly. There will be more details on this and other things later in the video, as I take you through the pictures and the build log. So this is where we left off from the previous episode, where we've got the Hardox weapon bar and the weapon mounts. Now, taking these pieces and the 16mm shoulder bolt, I was able to hole saw the HDPE panels and drill some holes so the Hardox supports could be fixed to the HDPE panels. This part of the assembly went together quite easily. Then the next step was to drill holes in the front panels so that I could fix all the parts together with screws. The weapon bar, the big pulley and some washers will go on the shoulder bolt later. I also drilled some holes in the weapon assembly so you can fit a locking bar, and then I test fit the whole assembly back on the robot to make sure it fit properly. This one shows the robot with the weapon bar installed and some metal washers. This was still back when the robot was fitted with Gunblade's old wheels. And this picture shows the robot with the new wheels. At this point, with the brushed speed controllers in place, it could actually be ready for a drive test. So I took it outside, powered it on, make sure the transmitter was all good, and made sure the mixing on the transmitter was set up properly so it could steer. So this is the weapon bar set up with the large pulley. Later in the build, the pulley would have holes drilled in it so I could insert screws to attach the weapon bar and the pulley together. So this is my first attempt at spray painting metal. These few layers here are the grey primer before you apply the colour. And this is the weapon bar sprayed with the next layers, which are red paint. This was sprayed outside and then eventually taken in to dry. The robot looks a lot better now that it's got a nice red weapon bar. So then the next step was to do the rest of the weapon assembly. I started by drilling a small hole into the small pulley and then tapping it with an M5 tap. So then I was able to put an M5 grub screw in there. I also filed out a flat in the brushless motor shaft, so that then the grub screw could sit on the flat of the shaft, and this ensures the pulley spins with the motor. So the next step was to fit the bushing to the large pulley. As you can see here, there was no tolerance in the pulley, therefore I had to file out the inside of the pulley a little bit, just so that the bushing would actually run freely on the pulley. Once I was satisfied that it runs smoothly, I fitted the bushing and the pulley to the main weapon assembly and used a large diameter hole saw on the HDPE panel. This was done in order to fit the brushless motor properly. So with the brushless motor mount done and both pulleys done, I was actually able to put the whole pulley part of the assembly together and made sure the belts could run smoothly without slipping off or being too tight. This was a huge improvement on Gunblade, because I actually managed to do this first time, whereas Gunblade's pulley positions had to be adjusted several times. So then it was just a case of drilling the holes in the big pulley and attaching the weapon bar to it. I used a whole new drill set for this, as I knew it would be a very important operation. This picture shows all the screws in place from the weapon bar to the pulley. There's also a large 8mm HDPE spacer that you can't see in the picture. This goes between the weapon bar and the pulley and makes sure the bar can't actually hit the belt on the way round. So when that was all done, I was able to put the assembly all back together and weigh the robot. Keep in mind this is with everything apart from the top panels, so the batteries included. The target was 5.44 kilograms and I'm hundreds of grams over. So the next major challenge there is to cut weight out where I can. As you can see here, I started on the wheels, but this is quite a long process and I had to go round several pieces of the robot before I got it in weight. But I'll cover more of that in the next episode. So that about wraps up this episode. As you can see, the robot actually needs some weight removed in order to meet the target of 5.44 kilograms. I'll cover more of this weight saving on the robot in more detail in the next episode. So I'll see you then in the next video. Bye bye.